Welcome back. Let me ask you a question. Not a loud question. Not an accusation, but a gentle question. What if nothing is wrong with you? Let that sink in for a second. What if nothing is wrong with you? What if the anxiety, the self-doubt, the stopping and starting? What if it's not proof that you're broken? What if it's just proof that you're human?
Welcome to Your Inner Advocate, a podcast by Kimen Petersen, formerly Conversations with Kimen. This podcast is a space for inspiration, soulful insights, and meaningful life lessons. Your host, Kimen Petersen, draws from personal stories and powerful conversations with remarkable people to help illuminate your path. These episodes reflect his lived experiences and thoughtful perspectives, all aimed at encouraging you to live life with greater authenticity, joy, and ease. Your Inner Advocate is here to help you tune in, trust your inner wisdom, and move through life with more clarity, flow, and fulfillment.
You see, the truth is, you're not a problem to be solved. You're a person to be understood. Unfortunately, many of us learned to believe we were broken. Because most of us, me included, we didn't wake up one day deciding that we were flawed. We learned it over time. We learned it through comparison, through criticism, both from others and ourselves. We learned through moments where we were completely misunderstood, craving to be understood, not understanding why people don't get us. And so many of us slowly, quietly built this belief that there must be something wrong with me. The truth is, when a child grows up unseen, they don't think, is something wrong with the world? They feel there must be something wrong with them. But the survival behaviors we create in our life in order to make it through this, they're not character flaws. They're adaptations. And sometimes you adapt in a way that you have no other choice. Sometimes you learn to avoid people, avoid interactions. I remember when I was young and I really didn't fit in. And the majority of my interactions with other people were really negative. I got bullied a lot. So I remember trying to find a safe place, someplace to hide or keep moving or stay away from other people during lunch and recess. Otherwise, there would be an interaction that made me feel bad. And find places to hide until they became not possible anymore. Somebody recently told me that they had a similar experience, and it made me want to cry because I know how that feels. And just wish I could have been there back then for that person. Could have been that safe place for someone. So if anyone who knows me wonders why I try to create a safe place for people all the time, that's why. Because I understand how it feels to not have a safe place. And I don't want anybody to go through that. And that's why I came up with this episode today. The truth is, you're not lazy, you're not weak, and you're not behind. I've heard these before, eh? Let's name some of the labels you may be carrying. You're lazy. You're too sensitive. You're unmotivated. You're behind. But listen carefully. None of these describe who you are. They describe what happens when someone has been overwhelmed without support. You see, your nervous system had to find a way to make it through. So it learned protection before it ever learned performance. You didn't feel consistency. Consistency didn't feel safe. And it's funny, the most amazing human beings I know on this planet all hold beliefs in the background, and not that they've said it to me. You can just see it. Because if you want to see who a human being is, watch for what they're trying to portray in the world. And in behind that is the lack of, they're trying to overcome, free themselves from. And the truth is, if you've never learned this, there's a huge cost at believing that you are the problem, that you are broken, that there's something wrong with you, that you don't fit in. Because when you believe something is wrong with you, you stop listening to yourself and you push instead of care. You abandon instead of stay. You isolate rather than connect. You stay silent. You try to sink in the background. Because you've not been seen, you try to not be seen. And your life shrinks. And the deepest wound this causes is you stop trusting your own experience. Because the truth is, the most painful betrayal is the one where you turn against yourself. And I said it before, and there was a time when I thought I was so bloody broken, and I had my internal dialogue, my internal critic was so mean and pushing me down and calling me down and basically hating. And it would get so loud. And I felt like I was in a war in my head, which was so loud, which completely distracted me from everything around me. And I was in this war, but one day I realized that I was fighting on the wrong side because I was agreeing with the internal critic that I was broken, I sucked, I was a loser, I would never amount to anything. And I was saying this, agreeing with the negative internal dialogue. I was in a war, but I was fighting on the wrong side. And that's got to be the worst experience I've ever had. Because there's no safe place when your inside is fighting for a critic that isn't actually defining you. All it's trying to do is keep you safe, keep you protected. But it only can do that by keeping you small. Because then you don't stand out, keeping you hidden. Because then you don't get on other people's radar. But the truth is, healing doesn't begin with fixing. Begins with believing that you are worthy of gentleness, of kindness. You're worthy of connection. What if the reactions make sense in the context of your life, right? What if fear is wisdom? What if hesitation is intelligence? What if none of this needs to be eliminated? Just understood, What if all this stuff that's going on in your life is on purpose? Not just intentional, but on the purpose of your life. What if you are here to learn to connect? And the only way you can do that is by being so separated, so alone, that when you do create connections, they're the most powerful connections that you could ever have. They're lifelong, they're sustaining. What if this is all teaching you compassion? Like, the truth is, I wouldn't go back and change those times when I isolated myself, when I was so full of fear. And this is because, like I said, when somebody comes and tells me that they've been through that, my heart goes out. I want to cry for them. And I wish I could have been there at that moment to support them. But I'll tell you what, maybe I couldn't have been there then, but I can be here now. I can be here with them in their pain, safe place, be that for them now. And hopefully it'll help. Because that's all I got, and I know that. The truth is, when we can stop asking what's wrong with me and start acting or asking, what happened to me? And what was that trying to create? It's like, say if you ask the universe or God, made a request that I want to be strong. Do you think they would go, poof, you're strong? No. They're going to put you through all these things to develop strength so you can be strong, because that's what you asked for. It's just we get confused when we're in it, that we don't understand. It's not the mountain that we're climbing. It's who we become as we climb. Like, these hard things, they don't define us as somebody who's broken and not okay and not meant to have great life. These things are meant to help you develop the things to have the life. Because more than likely, if you're going through real hard things, you're here to help people. And the only way you can help people is understand what somebody's going through when they're in pain. Develop empathy and compassion. So you don't need to be rewritten. You don't have to rewrite the story. You just have to receive it. You just have to understand it. And it can all start simply. And this is where I started. Is like, you have to find a new way to speak to yourself. And I'm not saying you're intentionally speaking to yourself, but just like me, I was in a war, and my negative internal dialogue was picking on me so hard. And then I decided to fight, but I was fighting for that side, the negative side. You have to change the dialogue. You have to get off the side that's criticizing, and you have to build. It's funny, I'm saying you have to. You don't have to. But if you really want to have an incredible life, I highly recommend you build an inner advocate. And yeah, you go to war, but now you're going to a war. You're not fighting for the side of you're broken, you suck, You never make it. You fight for the sight. Yes, I can. Yes, I will. Just watch me. What if you actually speak to yourself like someone you love? What if on those really tough days when you're falling apart, what if you said, you got this. I care. I know you can do this. I've seen you get through so many things. You got this too. I'm going to be here with you all the way. It's okay. It's okay to feel bad. What if you spoke to yourself with love and not with excuses, but with curiosity? Filled yourself with curiosity. Instead of what's wrong with me, what am I protecting right now? What is this teaching me? What strength am I building through the overcoming of this? Because the voice you heal matters more than the habit you're trying to change. Safety creates change, not shame. One of my favorite thoughts, I heard this a long time ago. It's resistance causes persistence. And this is kind of a confusing thing, right? Because if there's something you want to change really bad, that's like I said, like I'm broken. And you fight and fight and fight. Unfortunately, you're just giving more energy to I'm broken. It's like Mother Teresa was asked to come and march in a march against the war. And she said, no, dear, I'm not coming to that. I can't march in your march against the war. And they were like, what do you mean? Like, aren't you against war? And she said, oh, yes, dear. She says, what I'll tell you what. If you hold a march for peace, I will lead it. You see, resistance causes persistence because when you're resisting what's so, you're giving so much energy to the thing you don't want. You see, the other side of resistance causes persistence is acceptance causes disappearance. And the crazy thing is you accept, not settle for, say, okay, there is this thing, I feel I'm broken. I accept the fact that I feel I'm broken. Now, you're not accepting the fact you're broken. You're accepting the fact that you feel like you're broken. Because on the other side of resistance causes persistence is acceptance causes disappearance. And it's kind of cool because if you really accept something, it does disappear as a problem. It might still stay there in the background that you feel like you're broken, but you've accepted it, so it's okay, and you welcome it back in. Because maybe that's a piece of you need to bring back in. That's the only way to heal it, is to accept it. And the other thing that magically happens is sometimes when you accept something, it disappears. Just disappears. And then rather than putting all your energy towards fighting what you don't want, you figure out, what do I want? And then you put all your energy towards what you want. Because the truth is, the brain can only focus on so much at one point. And if you're focusing all your energy in life on everything you want, then everything you don't want starts dissipating in the background because there's no space for it. Imagine a life going from, I'm broken, I don't fit in, I'll never amount to anything. I mean, personally, my thought used to be, I don't matter. The truth is, I'm only displacing a certain amount of air. Until the day I die, and then slowly I'll dissipate less air and I'll be gone. And I will never have made any impact by besides a certain amount of time, I've displaced air on this planet. That was where I was. And now, yeah, that's in the background somewhere because, like, it's in my past. That's part of what built me and developed me. I understand that. I actually appreciate the fact that it created this drive. And now my whole life, the majority of my energy every single day is put into trying to make a difference. Trying to find my voice. Trying to find my dialogue. Trying to have an impact. And that's what your inner advocate is. And that's my social media. If you ever see my social media, you'll see it's all about. Like on my Instagram, I share inspirational quotes every day. And on my TikTok, I drop, right now I'm doing a series called Kindness Challenge. And every day I try to put out a way you can be kind to yourself and others. That's why I write these episodes. That's why it's a Saturday morning. My first patient canceled, so I've got a little bit of time, so I'm recording a couple episodes. It's because I'm going to spend the rest of my life focusing on the things I want. Not this thought that I'm broken. Not this thought that I don't fit in. Not this thought that I'm just displacing a certain amount of air until the day I pass, and then I'll displace less air. See, I don't know if I can have an impact on this world, but I sure the hell don't know I can't. And I'm not going to allow a thought that I don't know that I can do something to stop me from trying. And the truth is, if I help one person, it's worth every bit this energy. Then the rest are gravy, as I always say. So I want to leave you with this. Just like me, you're not late. You are not broken. And you're not failing at being human. You're just responding to life the best way you know right now. You're doing the best you can with what you have in this moment. And that means there's nothing wrong with you. Listen, there's nothing wrong with you. You're never meant to be fixed. You're meant to be understood, supported, and loved. And if that didn't happen, that's not on you. That's not on you. It's not your fault. Just start there, okay? And slowly everything else will happen. And see, the irony of life is we have to live it in forward. But we can only understand when we look back. And when you come out of this and you start seeing all the things you've learned and start finding all the way you can support other people because you know what it feels like, you will see the blessing in this. But yeah, you can only see it in retrospect. And I really hope something in here, in this short time, helps you to see some of that. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not broken. You're becoming. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit. I'm really grateful to anybody who listens to this. If anything helps here, anything makes a difference. And if you think somebody really needs this message right now, please, Please put them in this path. Keep overcoming your inner critic. Keep focusing on what you want. And in doing so, you're building your own inner advocate.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Your Inner Advocate, a podcast by Kimen Petersen, formerly Conversations with Kimen. If you found value in today's episode, please follow, like, and share the podcast with someone who you think may benefit from it. You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and connect on Instagram at your_inner_advocate. Until next time, keep listening to and developing your inner advocate.